Ahead of the snap parliamentary elections, Armenian authorities are trying to influence the upcoming campaign mechanisms following acting Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan's failed visit to the Sunik province, when he was met with curses by the local residents. The package of bills and amendments and additions to the criminal code and related laws implies criminal liabilities in cases when the voting results at election precincts are declared invalid due to interference in and obstruction of the electoral process. Criminal liability will be imposed also for obstructing the election campaign and using violence or threatening to use violence at or near the polling stations. It is proposed also to impose criminal liability for publishing false information about a party bloc, or a candidate running in an election in cases where this action was carried out for commercial purposes. The Armenian POWs in Azerbaijan have conveyed a video message to their families through the International Committee of the Red Cross, the ICRC. Zara Amaduni, representative of the ICRC office in Armenia, told NEWS.am that such means of communication is used for the first time. On April 25th, the Azerbaijani side prevented the entry of 25 Armenian pilgrims to Davank monastery, where an ordination ceremony was planned by the servants of the Artsakh Diocese of the Armenian Apostolic Church. Preventing the entrance of the faithful to Davank with obviously false and idle pretexts, the Azerbaijani military aimed to disrupt this important sacred ceremony of the Armenian Apostolic Church. Thus, the Azerbaijani side violated the agreement reached through the mediation of Russian peacekeepers. According to the agreement, the Armenian faithful can freely enter and perform spiritual ceremonies in the Davank monastery. Freedom House Human Rights Organization has published its 2021 report of the nations in transit, according to which Armenia's score has declined for the first time since the revolution in 2018. Armenia is now ranked as a state with a semi-consolidated authoritarian regime. In Armenia, the war with Azerbaijan over Nagorno-Karabakh has triggered a domestic crisis that risks undoing the success of the 2018 Velvet Revolution. The country's democracy score declined for the first time since the revolution, and developments to date this year, including tensions between the military and Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, demonstrate that the situation could grow worse, the report said. Opening the border with Turkey will hit Armenian agriculture hard. Second President of Armenia, Robert Kocharyan, stated this during a talk with his supporters. But one thing is clear, that the opening the border of Armenia with Turkey today will deal a big blow to our agriculture, because our two agricultures are rivals, and it is obvious that Turkey's agriculture is in a better condition in larger volumes, and Turkey's government provides much bigger subsidies. It is virtually not that in Armenia, and the abolition of the Ministry of Agriculture left the sector completely ownerless. This means that if the border opens now, the situation of our villagers in the Ararat Valley will be just awful. Their product will not be competitive in terms of price. Before opening the border, at least a few years are needed to raise the level of your agriculture, bring the level of subsidies to the same level, protect your market with various taxes, after which you can only think about opening the border, Kocharyan noted in particular. A dead body was found in a house that caught fire in Oshagan village of Armenia's Aragazotan province Wednesday morning. Those gathered at the scene said that the deceased was a former police officer. As of Wednesday morning, 808 new cases of the coronavirus were confirmed in Armenia, and the total number of these cases has now reached 214,872 in the country, the National Center for Disease Control and Prevention informed NEWS.am. Also, 13 more deaths from COVID-19 were registered, making the respective total 4,071 cases. The number of people who have recovered over the past 1 day is 588. The total respective number so far is 196,289, and the number of people currently being treated is 13,503, which is an increase by 206 in 1 day. And 4,807 COVID-19 tests were conducted in Armenia over the past 1 day, while 974,776 such tests have been performed to date. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he was likely to discuss the Donbass conflict at a summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The Kremlin chief recently expressed a willingness to meet Zelensky in Moscow. Last week, Russia began pullback on a troop buildup on borders. The deployment had prompted fears in Ukraine and drew backlash from the West. The conflict in eastern Ukraine between the Ukrainian army and pro-Russian separatists picked up again earlier this year.